So I graduated a very long time ago from business school from IIM Ahmedabad in '85. And I've been working in marketing. I think like a lot of women in my generation, I quit working in the middle when my kids were born and I didn't have any help around. And then went back to work. I used to head marketing at Tanishq. The exciting time I had that time was we had launched Yoda Akbar collection, which I think started a movement. And then I used to run a branding firm. Now I have my own startup, now 5 years old, where we make helmets. And right now we are making helmets for women riders. So
That is
that's,
definitely, yeah, that is so awesome. Please continue.
no, that's it.
That
So
is so
ask me.
awesome. Yes, helmets for women itself sounds like a great initiative and an idea. The fact that it is something different than the way we have normally heard that, the helmets should be like standardized and stuff. The fact that you have taken into consideration that women's structure might need special helmets is amazing. And I am Ahmedabad sounds like a very, very big achievement in a very young age for you. I'm super sure. So, over the years, how has your leadership style evolved across this awesome journey?
I think it's different at different times. So when you are in an organization, there are a lot of organization culture and values that you follow. So I know Titan at Tanishq, the Tata value system was very strong. I worked in the US for some years, and in the US, it's a very, very entrepreneurial style where people just do what they think is the right thing to do, but there's also very good teamwork. Um, so that's a different culture. And I think now that I'm an entrepreneur, it's about giving a lot more leeway to people to come up with solutions to drive. So I uh, learned very early on that you can either become the leader who everybody follows, or you can, and that therefore you just have one set of ideas on the table, or you can take ideas from everybody and you can have maybe, lots of ideas on the table. So that's really what I like to do. Yeah.
That is actually a great different idea perspective that I'm listening for the first time. That a leader, if you're on the leadership aspect, you just stick to one idea. But if you take everyone collectively, then you get different inputs and you can grow the ideas in different ways. So, wow, that's actually a very awesome
So,
point that you
so
just made now.
Ayushi, I'll tell you where I
Mhm.
learned that. I used to run a
Yes.
branding firm, and we were pitching for the bid in Shanghai. And they had a global pitch where they had invited 18 agencies. There was only one other agency from India, the rest
Mhm.
were all global. And I was going to Shanghai for that pitch deck. And at the last 2 days before I was leaving for Shanghai, we were just running through the presentation and the pitch over there. And at that time, there was a very young intern who had just joined us. He was 21 years old and he had no experience. And he was sitting there listening in. And then he piped up and he came up with an idea, which I instantly realized was brilliant. And on the basis of his idea, we turned everything around in 2 days. The work that we'd been doing for over a month, we changed everything and we put it and we won that pitch. And that's when
Wow.
yeah, so that's when I realized that ideas don't have hierarchies. And it's a very, you have to allow everyone, you have to be an organization where everyone has a voice. So
Wow.
that's really what I got
That is
to.
such an
Yeah.
amazing example. That was the next thing I was going to ask, that based on what you just said, is there a specific moment that you just felt and an intern coming up with a great idea, which I'm assuming it was so great that you transformed the whole plan of month of planning into 2 days of work and one. So wow, that
Yeah.
definitely sounds great. And I feel that it also comes with the fact that you gave that intern the opportunity to speak up, because had the people around him, the board members and the each and every representative made him feel or her feel like they couldn't say or give up the idea, then they would probably have held back and you wouldn't have won. So kudos on giving that person the chance and the opportunity to speak up as well. Because that definitely makes a big impact at this young age when we ourselves aren't sure of what we are talking about.
Right, right. No, I think he was very bright. Um,
And ma'am, you have been a board member of some of India's biggest companies. So, based on so many experiences that you have had, including this one, what exactly truly makes an impactful leader in the boardroom?
so, when in one of my early jobs, I used to work for an American company. At that time, it was American called Singer. They used to
Mhm.
make sewing machines, but they also had retail stores. They had refrigerators. They had a whole lot of other products. And now, of course, that company is dead. And I remember being very young. I was an assistant manager. And if we had to go up to the floor where our managing director sat, you would sometimes go up and suddenly the admin there would come and say, shh, the board meeting is going on. And, there was always this thing about board meetings. And I remember when I went for my first one, when I was first appointed and I joined the first board meeting, and I was saying, oh, that's all there was to it. And they make such a big deal out of it. Board is a set of people who are concerned with the governance of the company, and they represent the interests of the smallest shareholder. So, really, it's about speaking up when you have to. It's about having independent thought, and it's about not going with what everybody is saying simply because everybody is saying it. So I think that part, if you are able to be independent and you're able to say, okay, I don't understand this, can you explain this a little better? Because not every board member is a domain expert in every subject. Um, it, I think it works. I think the main thing is to be really, really honest and follow your own independence in your thought.
Wow. That definitely sounds like a very impactful leader for sure. And I personally agree with it because we have all, I think, been in situations where there are many discussions happening and we feel the urge to ask that, okay, I don't understand certain thing, but being honest that, okay, I don't understand and would like to understand it better from what is being just said. So that can make a big impact in the way the further ideas grow up and we come up with new ideas. And you have
Yeah.
often spoken about bringing design thinking and semiotics into business. So what exactly does that mean and how does that influence the leadership decisions when guiding big large organizations?
So there is the world of Excel sheets and PowerPoints and logical arguments and so on, which is in the neofrontal cortex of the brain. And that's how we are all taught to be very rational and take all these very logical decisions, right? But when the consumer is buying, they are sort of listening to a rational thing, but they're eventually following their heart. They like something or they don't like something. Oftentimes, you'll ask them, why do you not like this brand? They won't be able to tell you. Or they might tell you, I saw this ad. Now, this hero was there. He wasn't wearing a shirt. I don't like that sort of an ad. I don't know. Sometimes you'll hear something, sometimes you won't hear something. So, the, the more uh, emotional decisions are made in the limbic brain, which is the older brain that we have. And all our management education teaches us to only use the neofrontal cortex. I remember doing packaging design for a very big brand of detergent, and it's a huge brand across the country. And the brand manager decided that, okay, now that you've done this packaging design, let us take it for research. And when they take it for research, typically what happens is consumers look at it and say, oh, ye to महंगा लगता है. Or they might say, this is very different from my current one. So they will give you an answer which is not necessarily the right answer or the wrong answer. It's just a different answer. But because you are living in this world of management, you say, okay, let's do market research. If 8 out of 10 people are telling me I should take this product pack, I will take this pack. If you do that, you will never have a breakthrough pack. An Apple computer may have never got made if everybody made black laptops which look the same and behave the same way. So sometimes to do something breakthrough, you really have to stand up and say, this is different. For that, you need to have independent thought, like I said before. And that's where semiotics comes in, because you can't just randomly say, okay, this is what everybody's saying, but I'm going to do something different. That might not work. So, what is semiotics? Semiotics is saying that, look, all of us, when we are listening to something or we are seeing something, we don't just read words, we see a picture also. We listen to the sounds also. So, if you are making a design on the cover of, say, a surf detergent, where you want to say this is easy washing, it's effortless washing, and you're showing a kid who's cycling downhill, you are triggering the association, because cycling downhill is very easy. You're triggering the association of easy in your head. And so the proposition becomes clear. But if on the one hand you're showing easy cleaning, and the other hand you're showing people playing, say, um, tug of war, where there is a lot of effort on both sides, that easy is no longer something that you're talking about. It's no longer communicating. So semiotics is a way of non-verbal communication that enhances the communication that you want to do. Sometimes just a picture makes a difference. And that's the design thinking way, where you think as a whole. You don't just think in parts. You don't, if you look at the difference between a Microsoft packaging and Apple packaging, Microsoft packaging will be full of details, bullet points, every detail written down and so on. Whereas Apple has nothing in it. It's just a thin product sideways that you can see, or you can see some completely unconnected thing. Right? And what this one tells you is that this is premium. There is a sense of luxury. It's minimalistic. It is very stylish. It's very design forward, and yet it's very high on technology. Whereas the other one tells you this is technology, technology, technology. It's good for Excel sheets, but I can't use it for anything else. Right?
Mhm.
So, so
Wow.
that's how you use material for
Semiotics.
sessions. Yeah.
It's actually awesome. To be honest, I personally never thought that a washing powder ad was actually influencing our thinking process as consumers so much. Like, if I'm giving an example, I don't know why I would first go for Tide rather than Surf Excel, for just in an example way. I think probably what you just said is now making more sense now that I remember the advertisements that we used to see, and we used to opt for that specific product. And
Yeah.
it definitely, you definitely did teach a very important lesson to us who are very new. And it really matters as to how there should be a balance between the practical things that you rely on, the research aspect, which is very important as well, and as well as understanding how the consumers feel and think about a product. Like as you said,
Absolutely.
if I think, I genuinely don't have many reasons as to why I don't buy a specific products, which I don't buy anymore. I'm like, I don't know, I think the packaging changed, it changed the way I saw the product. Now for me, I think it also comes with chocolates. I would say, like, there was a time a chocolate was a little more fluffier in the covering and it felt nice to have it, but now that they're saving plastic, they kind of made it very smaller, and now I don't feel like consuming it anymore. And it does affect the way the consumers do feel about the product. So thank you for
Absolutely.
actually
So,
giving us the clarity about it.
so I'll say one more thing. So there is a conscious mind and there's a subconscious mind.
Mm-hmm.
And all our emotional decisions come from the subconscious. So we are never able to, as you're saying, I don't know why I chose this, because that's a subconscious decision. So as a marketer, you have to enter the subconscious of people. I'll give you one example of the subconscious. You know, in India, we get upset about everything. So if somebody, uh, you know, we will have a public interest litigation because somebody felt insulted that they used that, or some god's picture was there and we have a problem that, that picture was used, so we will be insulted by that. So we are very thin skinned as Indians. But there is one girl who has made fun of everybody in this country, and she has made fun of prime ministers, presidents, she's made fun of godmen, and she has never been sued. And that is the Amul Girl. She is the most loved brand in India is Amul. And the Amul Girl pokes fun at everybody. She's making fun of even Baba Ramdev, to the Prime Minister, to Mrs. Indira Gandhi during emergency. She made fun of everyone, right? Every Amitabh Bachchan, she's always making fun of them. Why do we forgive her? Why do we feel if other brands saying something, we immediately go to the court? But Amul has never been sued in their entire life, even though they do this every week. They make fun of people. Nobody has stood up and said, I have a problem with this brand. And that is because at a subconscious level, if you try and understand who she is really the naughty child who loves butter. And
True.
who is the naughty child who loves butter? Is God.
Krishna.
So you can't have a problem with this brand. So that is when you see a subconscious, then you find solutions which go deep into a customer's psyche, where they will go open themselves, they will accept a brand more. So that's the kind of rational and subconscious mind that you need to
Ma'am,
work with.
that was the best example because it is true. Like the same joke made by a different company would offend a lot of people, but the Amul kid has been so loved and famous that even if we know it's just a very high level mockery that the ad is doing, we would still end up laughing about it because we just accepted that little Amul girl since the time the brand was born, probably. Like for us, we used to, as kids, I used to sing that song, which was of Amul, the title song for the milk ad, and it was amazing. There was no sense in the song, but we used to love singing it as well.
And like I said, when I was an assistant manager, we used to have a terrible allowance for traveling. Okay.
Oh,
And I went to for in official traveling because we used to not get very much money. We were very junior. And I was the only woman manager, even though, I was the junior most. So they advised me saying, why don't you go and ask the managing director and ask him to make a special case for you and give you a higher allowance. And I didn't want to do that. I don't want to succeed because I'm a woman and I've got special allowances. And I think that's been something I've believed in forever. I don't believe that I think women today are empowered. We can do pretty much anything we want. We don't need any special concessions. I don't want anyone saying, oh, she made it because she got so much benefit as a woman. And so I play by the same rules and I deal with my team by the same rules. So I really don't make a difference between women employees and male employees. Yes, the only thing I do understand, I have started paternity leave in my office, so that I know that it's not just women who are mothers, but there are men who are
true.
fathers. I
Definitely.
give advice. I give advice to the men in my office, saying once they get married, saying go home and be the first one to go and start cooking dinner, and
Wow.
you will get brownie points. But I don't think I treat women differently than men, and give them any special thing. I do understand that they need to go back home at a certain time. They can't hang around late till men. But I also believe that women waste a lot less time, therefore, because they know they
True.
have to be back home and the kids are waiting or whatever it is. And I think men can hang around and chat a little more. They are not in such a hurry to get back. So I don't think it makes a difference. I think at the end of the day, um, today women don't need the kind of handholding that my generation did. But I think
Definitely.
it's great to see that today.
That is so true. And to be honest, the fact that you just said that we don't need it anymore, we are already empowered, it is definitely true. It's just the way I understand it is sectors like logistics, where, it's counted as male dominated. It's like women are still not feeling that sense of security or belonging just because it has so many men out there. So it's the idea, I feel, that women do have, as you said, you had to take a career break when you had kids, so women have more responsibilities even on the other aspect. They have to manage more as compared to men when it comes to certain expectations from the society. It's not the men doing anything, it's the society set expectations which are to be met. And the fact that you are treating them equal definitely makes it really amazing as the first step of difference that we are trying to see in the world, where we don't expect special treatment, but we expect a sense of understanding from our seniors or the corporate leaders that are out there. And your
Yeah.
experience, yes, ma'am, the experience that you just described of being the female manager definitely shows that you were still provided the opportunity that you deserved as becoming the manager.
Yeah. I
And
think I think women today are very clear about what they want,
true.
and they are not willing to make compromises, and that's great.
Hmm.
And earlier we were always told that you have to adjust, you will get
True.
married, you will be the one who has to give. I think now, especially in
Times
equal
are
marriage,
changing.
there are more equal marriages than
True.
before. So
Hmm.
I think there's a good time to be women today, and
True.
do a lot.
Definitely. And hopefully soon we will be able to see and experience that sense of independence, I wouldn't say, but I would say the sense of belonging that we still low-key don't feel in certain areas and sectors, which is missing. But soon I feel that with each and every step that's being taken place out in the social media, in the different sectors, women speaking up,
Yeah,
the empowering side is showing up. And you have
absolutely.
transitioned from corporate career to entrepreneurship. How was that journey for you? What leadership shifts? What different perspectives that you had to make for that shift?
Um, I think that shift is. I don't think you get time to think because every day is a new challenge. So you just have to make sure that um, you just keep putting one foot in front of the other. I think entrepreneurship is really about being very. Um, there'll be days which are really bad where you don't see any upside. There'll be a lot of two steps forward, one step back kind of moments. But I think the thing about entrepreneurship is that you just have to persist, and just persistent pays. You just stay the course. It might take you 2 years, 5 years, 7 years even. And I've seen entrepreneurs where they've stuck on for 10 years and then the payoffs happen. Then it comes. So it's about persistence. It's about being consistent. It's about staying the course. And that's the biggest quality that you need for entrepreneurship. You don't need any dazzling leadership, or you don't need any, you just need to be persistent, because you will make a lot of mistakes. Things will go wrong, which are not
Mhm,
necessarily things that you've done.
mhm.
But I think if you stay the course and you stay really, really dogged and say, no matter what, I'm here to do this, then things start working. So,
Wow, that's actually a very beautiful piece of advice. And I think that applies not just to entrepreneurship, but life. That stay
yeah,
persistent, don't give up too easily, don't feel that you can't do that. And if you work hard and are focused enough, then it will show. The results will definitely come. And I think you are a live example of that idea that persistency does show and does give the results that you are aiming for.